Is this thing on? This is Addison coming to you from the shop community space, and is this thing on? I'm here with Jake Strickland.
Let's go.
So we're just going to kick it off. Just kick it off by letting everybody know about us, I guess, and we're going to start with you. So,
well, I hate talking about myself, but I'm excited that we're doing this because we've been talking about it for a long time. Like, all right, hey, let's do a podcast studio. You got the space. You already kind of fooling around with the idea anyway. I was like, I got the cameras. I just don't have podcast microphones. But it wasn't a short time before you had those. So, kudos to you for getting part of the production process.
Dude, I'm glad I'm glad that it all came together. It's really cool.
But nah, it's been, dude, to say it's been a journey to get to where I'm at now is pretty much like an understatement. So we're going to go all the way back to childhood. Let's just go really short because, like, what they don't know is episode 2, we're going to talk about you. So I'm excited. I've already started working on questions, by the way. I got them in my phone. Random questions. I didn't tell you ahead of time. Like, hey, let's ask each other some random questions because I was like, there's no clue what Addison, if he's given time to prepare, can come up with. So I already knew you were going to have something for me, so I got something for you already.
Okay.
But yeah, let's just go back to kind of like when I joined the Army. So I was 2009, I was 23, living in Wilmington. I was a dishwasher, working at an antique furniture store, and working security at a bar.
Okay.
You know, a bar that, like, people are shooting up heroin behind the bar. There's ceiling tiles being ripped down. It's a dive bar.
That bar.
The dive bar of dive bars in Wilmington. And if you know what I'm talking about, you know exactly. You'll say the name. You know where I'm talking about, near Oleander Drive. So anyway, so I'm working there, those 3 jobs. Don't know what I'm doing in my life. Always wanted to join the Army and did it. Just went and signed up. I was like, I'm single. I have no kids. I have no wife. I'm just working nonstop at the beach, but never on the beach. And so joined the Army and did that for 12 years. But the first 3 years I signed up for Airborne Infantry. So served with 82nd, 2nd 325, go White Falcons to all my Falcon guys. And did multiple deployments with those guys. Did a Haiti deployment, shut down Iraq in 2011 with them, and then got selected for recruiting duty. Hated that. Ended up falling in love with it, but hated it. But that's kind of when, like, this whole creative video, that's when it really started. So had I not become a recruiter, I would have went to Ranger selection when we got back, try to get into Rangers. If that didn't work, maybe try to go to SF. Like, I was going somewhere else other than just being 82nd. Not that that wasn't good enough, just didn't know where I was going. And so didn't get a chance to go to Ranger selection, got selected for recruiting instead. Did that for my first 3-year assignment in Minnesota. You know, you get 9 choices in the Army where you want to go. We said anywhere on the West Coast or West Coast, East Coast, down in the Gulf. We just want to be near the water somewhere if we got a choice.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be anywhere in the Midwest. I basically was in Canada. So, that was fun. Complete culture shock there. You know what I mean? But that was where both of our sons were born. And that's when I started videoing. I think I had like the iPhone 5 or whatever it was at the time. And, you know, my first son, Cash, would start walking. Like, oh, we're videoing that. Oh, he's crawling. We're videoing that. He's talking. We're videoing that. It's a birthday. Let's do that. And at that time, I was really getting into working out because I was like, well, I'm a recruiter. I'm about to get in stupid shape because we didn't have PT formations. It was all on you. You do your own time. As close to being a civilian as you could get without being a civilian. And so I got in really good shape, started getting training for like bodybuilding shows and stuff. And so I'm doing workout videos of myself because I'm like, well, I got to be on social media posting my transformation, you know. And that's when videoing started for me. And it grew into now I'm medically retired out of the Army after 12 years, did about 7.5 years of recruiting, and now have Grown Media Solutions that we've been doing full time now for 3 years, helping businesses, brands, weddings, events, pretty much shooting any and everything that needs to be shot or captured. We can do it, photo or video. So, nutshell, that is a cliff note version.
So did the marketing side of it come when you were just doing the transformation videos, or was it kind of like, hey, maybe I can do some videos for all the recruiting side, or?
Yeah, I didn't know anything about the marketing side of things. All of that kind of came at once. I was already in recruiting, and when you go through recruiting school, it's about 1.5 months, 2 months long. I can't remember exactly. But when you go through that, it's recruiting school, but it's literally sales training. You're learning how to sell people the Army, sell your Army story. It's but they don't like to use the word sell. They hate the word sell.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Tell your story. And
Fine line.
instead, it's like, come on, dude, we're selling the Army. That's all you're doing. Well, I sold myself. I didn't sell the Army because the Army's not for everybody, and I didn't like everything about the Army. But I wouldn't be where I'm at today without it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the marketing side came when Ashley, she got into doing like Beachbody at the time of me doing like the bodybuilding competitions and stuff. And so they started pushing personal development and post 60 times a day and all this stuff, you know. So we started to learn from them, and I already learned a little bit from the Army. And I understood social media. I enjoyed social media, and the high school kids were all over social media. So these old Army guys couldn't talk to them, and I was just like Snapchatting them and all this other stuff. So,
you know, it's funny. First time y'all came into the bar, y'all were getting teas or whatever, and I was trying to pitch them on the Herbalife opportunity, and they're just kind of like,
we knew right away.
Oh, I know.
So get on your mouth. I was like,
I got you. I got you.
We walked in and saw it, and I was like, hey, we ain't signing up, all right? Because she'd already been, you know what I'm saying? By the time we got here back to North Carolina, because we got here on a compassionate reassignment, my mom had breast cancer.
Okay.
And so the Army gave me a compassionate reassignment, and I worked out of Raleigh Recruiting Battalion and was living back home in my childhood house. Mom was in hospice and all this stuff. So at that point in time, dude, Ashley had already been in like a handful. It wasn't like she was a serial network marketer, but like she went in Beachbody hardcore for about a year, 2 years, I'm not sure. But we went on trips. She did really good. She climbed the ranks, hit a spot where she plateaued, went to a makeup company, took off there with Lime Life, and they changed names. She stayed with it. You know what I mean? So, like, those things provided it. You know what I mean? But that also helped me photo creativity and video creativity because she needed stuff.
Working together, bouncing off each other.
You know what I mean? And so it was super organic. I've never been to school for anything. It's YouTube University for me.
Oh, yeah. That's how I became a mechanic. YouTube.
Which can get you in trouble too.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Because a lot of trouble.
They'll show you what you need to see and what you should buy, and it's not really what you need to buy. Like the cameras I have now, I need those. But when I first got the camera, you know, there was stuff I did buy up front that I was like, this is a waste of money. Because I wanted the budget-friendly. Everything I looked up was like budget-friendly lens, budget-friendly microphone, budget-friendly. And sometimes you don't need the budget-friendly. Get the expensive one up front, save for it, and then let it just stay with you forever. Like these lights. We got them 3 years ago, and I'd use them every time I shoot. So,
yeah, that's what my mother said about the microphones. Just, dude, just spend it. But so I should have more questions.
I got a question for you.
Uh-oh.
So, what was your reasoning for when you decided to pull the trigger? Like, what was your reasoning? Obviously, I'm local. You know what I'm saying? We were already kind of friends at the time when you started the shop and the podcast studio. But what was it that was like, I'll go with Jake? You know what I'm saying? Like, aside from us being friends and already having that mutual connection.
Yeah. No, man.
From Grunt Media standpoint.
From the totally say I don't know this guy. No, but I've seen, I had a shop down in Bowie's Creek. And during that time, Jake was actually doing the social media for Campbell Wrestling. And I got to like witness that firsthand on the sidelines. The wrestlers would actually come in and play ping pong with me at my shop.
Oh, that's right.
So they would show me, you know, their stuff, and I'm like, oh, that's Jake. All right, yeah,
go Jake.
Get it.
That was an experience, dude. Like, let's pause there for a second. Like, when I got into video, I didn't know what route I wanted to go. I knew I didn't want to do weddings. But in saying that, now doing weddings, have done weddings, I'm like, that's a big payday, and it's like a long day, and then you do the rest from home from the computer. But I knew I didn't want to do weddings. I knew I wanted to do like action stuff. Like I like documenting. And that's what all I knew at first. I didn't know how to create scenes and cuts and shoot for the edits and all the stuff I know now. I just knew like, oh, y'all are going to play football. You want me to take some video of you and put together a video? All right, well, I need video of them playing football, getting dressed, and then maybe like a breakdown at the end or something. That was literally all I knew. And then whatever they did, that's the shot I got. There was no like, hey, y'all go back, tie your shoe again. Or, hey, put your towel back in the bag, pull it out. All right, do it again and get it from multiple angles. Like, there was nothing of that. It was all documentary stuff. But I wanted to do documentaries. And so that kind of helped me of like audio on the fly, of listening and changing scenes really fast and settings. So that did help me out a lot, but I really want to get into sports. So landing that job with Campbell, you know, we have to get into how I got it. It was a cool story, but like being with them full time, traveling, flying in Vegas, wrestling in a barn for the first time with UFC Fight Pass, like stupid amount of experience, exposure, so much fun, dude.
I remember those shots from the NCAA that you had up there. That looked really cool.
Dude, I'm telling I can't, I just got chills. Like, because I wrestled. So, but I wrestled at a very low level. Don't get it confused. I'm not saying I was great or nothing like that. And that's not how I got the wrestling.
Yeah, I wrestled too. It was off the couch, and there was pads.
But no, so, I did wrestle, and I went to States my senior year, and it was I knew what that felt like walking on the mat where, you could see people cheering and stuff, and you just kind of, hear your feet hitting the mat. It's oh, my God, I can't breathe. This is real. Same thing, but shooting video on 1,000,000 times more because it's a whole bigger arena than I was in when I was in States wrestling. And it's just, packed to the brim, completely sold out. And it's just, the stage is lifted up, one mat in the middle, and they come out.
Oh,
it's the finals, and I'm on the floor with my camera. Campbell's not even wrestling at this point, but because of my access, I just get to sit right down the floor with everybody else in the team and stuff. It's just phenomenal. But that right there pushed me hard because the turnaround times are super fast. Anything dealing, especially D1 level sports, they have an event. They need to post stuff that night of the event, right after the event, whether it's pictures, interviews, all that stuff. So the event's over and everybody's high-fiving, chilling, and I'm flip, got the headphones, the microphone, I run around, hey, say that, how'd you do about the match? And then everybody leaves, and I'm oh, I get to clean up now. Do I have all my stuff?
It makes me think of those replays they do for football or whatever, and it's just that just happened, but you're pre-commercial, and you're gonna play that that you ain't got no time.
No.
But no, I think that's really cool, man. I was kind of jealous you were out there. I was sitting at Campbell. The kids were out of school, and I ain't got nobody coming in. I'm he's out there having fun, dang it. I ain't got nobody to play ping pong with, man.
I can't believe I never went over there and played ping pong. I'm actually mad at myself.
Really?
I had the shot because, I knew you and I knew you here, but I wasn't at Campbell really like that when you were, fully at that location.
Oh, yeah.
By the time I got in with Campbell, really good. Because the first round I did with Campbell, I was just hired on as a guy who traveled with them and got shots on the road because the guy who had the contract didn't want to travel.
Mm-hmm.
So when I got into it full time, that was already pretty much you were kind of closing that down and just focusing on the So I hate them there because I love ping pong, dude. I'm pretty good.
Okay.
I feel like I'm pretty good. You still got the ping pong table?
No. That's actually I should have took it with me because they got rid of it. But it was kind of funny because I grew up with a ping pong table in me and my brother's room, and we played a lot. And I cut the tendons in my fingers, and I was playing with a guy, Daniel. He always kicked my butt. You remember Daniel? I think he was more of a staff that last year.
Yeah.
But he would always, and one day I just up and decided to switch to my left hand and started practicing, and we started playing one day, and he goes, "Did you always serve left-handed?" And I was nope.
So how were you with your left hand?
I was actually pretty good with my left hand, actually. I had tennis lessons when I was younger, too. So
good.
Yeah, I understood ball spin and contact points, but yeah, ping pong.
We won't go into that training.
We're not going into that.
How did you hold the paddle with that hand? Just the two fingers?
Well, I would kind of...
Or just in your thumb and just let the paddle kind of hang?
The paddle just kind of hung, really. If I tried to grip it with these two, I couldn't flip it around for a backhand or anything like that. So it just kind of laid there. And sometimes
how you figure that stuff out, though.
And sometimes I'll just switch on people randomly, and it throws them off.
That's good. Yes, we have a customer. We'll be back.
We will. All right, so I just had to make a zombie for somebody, and if you're curious,
here we go.
That is a tea from what I originally opened in 2020, All Good and Healthy. It's actually some really good stuff. You should check it out. It's healthy. I mean, we got the protein shakes, sugar-free teas, aloe to keep your belly happy, B vitamins. I can do the whole...
I was crapping on you earlier talking about the whole network marketing thing. But let's be real. I get teas all the time, or shake, or the kids come in with me to shoot or talk to you, and they're getting shakes and teas too. And Ashley's hanging out getting a tea too. You know what I mean? I was just crapping on the whole network marketing.
Oh yeah,
because we just came out of.
I'm kind of.
Come get yourself and all good and healthy team.
It's actually really good stuff.
So yeah, I don't even know where we're at, to be honest.
No, we were talking about we were at Campbell, and then we started talking about ping pong.
Yep. And how good I was, and we got to figure that out.
Yeah.
I'll show a video later of me whooping Addison in ping pong. We'll make that happen.
And I'll switch hands. Throwing some curve balls.
So you should win.
And by the way, speaking of the Herbalife thing, I got back on the plan today.
Ooh.
Yeah, so
by episode like 30, dude, you could be. Yeah. We got to rearrange the studios.
Yeah, we'll make it fit.
We'll make shirts. They'll be too big.
Yeah, I'll have to get some of them Jake Strickland shirts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, this has been fun though. This has been fun. I'm glad we're doing this because like I wanted to have a podcast, but I don't want to be a host. Like just me and have people on, or if I can't get people on, just me talking about me or video or my journey or life or whatever. So I'm glad we're doing this because not only like I feel like we're going to be able to like help people when it comes to tips, tricks, things we learned along the way. Because let's figure it out. I mean, let's be honest, we're still figuring it out.
Yeah.
And we're continuing to grow. The studio will change, evolve. The cameras will change and evolve, and everything will change, and it should. And that's how you know you're growing. But I think there's a lot of people, especially here around us in Angier, Harnett County. If you go anywhere outside the big city of Raleigh or Charlotte, anything like that, all these in-between towns that are flourishing and growing and all this stuff, and all these businesses are coming. People our age are starting businesses and have young families. We know social media. We didn't grow up on it, but we know it, and we've had it. So how do we help people, and how do I help people? I help them through Grow Media Solutions. But I'm like, man, I feel like I could do more. And I'd like to have a podcast because I'm telling everybody they should have a podcast, and I don't have one.
Right.
You should have a website. I don't have a website yet, So this gives me that opportunity selfishly to have a podcast, but like not fully be invested in it alone.
Right.
Grow Media Solutions, besides Ashley, she's my wife, she should support me, right? I love it, and she's a big part of it, don't get me wrong. But I've just now got to a point where I have some local guys that are also wanting to do what I'm doing and are doing it, and I get to bring them on, and I'm not lonely anymore. Cause it is lonely. Like, like doing this.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have a full staff up here working with you. You're sitting up here by yourself. You know what I mean? If customers aren't coming in, you're like, well, let me look at some numbers and figure this out. And it gets lonely,
Oh, that's the story for
a whole nother episode.
That's a whole nother episode right there. But
loneliness and entrepreneurship. Some people don't talk about.
That's right.
You think all your friends are going to come and all this stuff that happen? We'll get to that because I know offline we talked about it, but that's what I'm excited about. I'm excited that we get to have something. I get to be a part of something and have something. We get to call the shots. We don't have to. There's no outside influence and worrying about if we make this person happy or this client happy. Like we literally be like, episode 1 was good. Let's shoot episode 2 completely different. You know what I mean? And I'm looking forward to episode 2 because dude, I'm telling you these questions.
Oh man,
we have a whole segment, 5 minutes of just rapid fire.
Okay, rapid fire.
So y'all definitely got to tune in for episode 2.
Yeah, episode 2. Take 7.
You're not ready. All right, do we end it there?
I guess
anything else you want to tell to episode 1 that we left out to give them some little kind of heads up?
If you're curious about this, just ask us. And dude, I'm really glad you when you decided that, or when you saw that I was doing this, that you said, hey, I want to be a part of that, because that's the cool thing. We can work together.
Yep.
We each have our own set.
Yep.
We can each bring our own game, and it's not.
Our styles are not completely different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like.
And they're definitely not the same.
No.
So we can. I'm really looking forward to it.
Logo, you know what I mean? Like, it was just like, oh, I think we should do a caricature. And you're like, oh, well, I have an app. Hold on. Well, let's just take a picture now and do it. You know what I mean? And it's just, that's how this whole thing is done. It's like, oh, you should do a podcast studio. I wasn't thinking about it. And then here's a podcast studio. Hey, we should do a podcast. And, it's just, we're action. We want to do it. And that's the thing I like about linking up, and we can cut it there. But like the entrepreneurs that are really going after it, not to be entrepreneur or not to have the title of being an entrepreneur, to not be able to post about being an entrepreneur, to not do it to update their bio. You know what I mean? Like that are doing it, don't have a ton to show for it, but are living the life they want to live on the time that they want to live it on, and connect with those people. And those people are the ones that are like saying it and doing it, saying it and doing it, saying it and doing it. And before long, it's only a matter of time that I feel like me, you, anybody we're connected to that is at the level we're at success-wise that some people would call success before something else happens. You know what I mean? Just because we're always doing something. I'm never just sitting around like, well, I got enough stuff and I've figured out how to do video good enough. I was watching videos sitting out here because I got here early, like watching how these other guys shot their podcasts and how they could, you know what I mean? So, and you're doing the same thing all the time too because we're texting nonstop.
Yeah.
So that I love, you know what I mean? That doesn't get annoying to me like, oh, Addison's texting me again with this stupid idea. Or it's just a stupid reel that you saw and you just laughed at.
Oh, yeah, I send stupid reels.
Which are ideas to me because I'm like, oh, that's viral. Why is that viral? It's funny. Why is it funny? So
breaking it down and telling you why this thing is on.
Oh, you did it right there. That's a good one.
Perfect. Take 7.
Yeah.